Let's go.
Mate, it's Bike Fit Tuesdays.
Hey, it's Thursday.
Exactly. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know, what are we going to talk about?
Shoes.
Talking about shoes.
What's the best shoe for road cycling?
A shoe that fits. There isn't a single best shoe for everyone. If I had to say one shoe that would work for the broadest amount of people, Lake CX237, because it's wide, firstly. A certain Italian shoe manufacturer rep told me that nobody has wide feet. Idiot. It's got a great sole, it's carbon fibre sole, the cleat location's great. That is the shoe we sell the most of. I probably sell a pair a day. The shoe should fit. If you've got, actually I had a guy in here this afternoon who's got really skinny chicken feet. He's got a pair of those. They're not quite right for him. So it really has to fit. The shoe, your foot's got to fill the shoe. You can't have a shoe that's too constrictive and is closing down the front of your foot or putting pressure around the front of your foot. I think one thing that people overlook and misunderstand and don't necessarily think about is cleat location. So cleat location differs from shoe to shoe to shoe. Some of the Italian brands tend to have their cleat location slightly further forward. We don't really know why. I'm a massive advocate of Lake, as people who watch the videos will already know, mostly for the fact that from CX218, CX237, 332 to 402, they're all different shapes. So I have one shoe brand, but it offers a massive fit spectrum, and they also do wide fit, extra wide fit, so on and so forth.
How do you know a shoe fits?
Okay, so a shoe should be snug, not tight. A piece of advice I could give to viewers would be, if you're going to buy a pair of shoes, go to a bike shop, have somebody actually size your feet, look at your feet, understand your feet. It's an indication of a shop that knows what they're doing and actually wants to sell you a shoe that's correct and it's going to work for you. Everyone that comes through the door here wanting a pair of shoes, starting with a good old-fashioned branding device, which gives an understanding of foot length, foot width, arch length, and we can kind of really recommend a shoe based on those measurements. If you've got wide feet, a Lake's generally a pretty good starting point. A lot of people like Bonds, although I'm not a massive fan because they're quite flat.
Shimano.
Shimano do a wide fit. You quite like your Shimano wide fits. City does a wide fit, but it's actually not that wide because City's quite a slender fitting shoe, and they do what's called a mega fit. It's more like a standard fit. Narrow fitting shoes would be something like a City or a Physique or a Giro. Would be the brands that I would recommend. Actually, I really do quite like the Giros. I think an important thing to understand is that you don't necessarily need the most expensive shoes in the world. You know, people seem to think that they need to have heat moldable custom, like whatever it is. I mean, you know, CX402 from Lake is a fantastic shoe. It's heat moldable, but there are very few people that actually need this shoe. I think at the end of the day, fundamentally, it's just got to fit. You get a shoe that fits you for £80, you get a shoe that costs you for £1,000. I think that I shouldn't drink beer before this video.
So say I'm new to cycling, I've just bought my first set of shoes and cleats.
Yeah.
Where do I put my cleats?
So, honestly, so first and foremost, there's a lot of information on the internet and on YouTube about aligning the center of the cleat or the center of the pedal axle with the ball of your foot. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. So something that you actually brought up and raised a really valid point, you wouldn't stamp on something with your toes. You can do very, very little harm with taking the cleat as far back as it'll go on the shoe. On any shoe. There are certain shoes that, I mean, the Bont, for example, has really quite a rearward cleat location. It's not a bad thing at all. It's actually quite a good thing, but it's, but you know, some people might not like it. It might feel a bit odd. But I think, generally speaking, there isn't really any negative to taking the cleat as far back as it'll go on the shoe. Daisy out.
And in the middle?
From left to right, from a medial lateral perspective. Yeah, absolutely. Try them in the middle. I think it's important to think about. You get a lot of people that say, oh, you know, I made a small change to my cleats and all of a sudden all hell broke loose. It's not because of your cleats, it's because your position's shit in the first place. Having things like knee pain and saddle issues, this is quite a broad statement, but you don't get knee pain and saddle issues because of cleat location. I mean, it's usually a combination of factors. That being said, if somebody needs their stance maxed and their stance is as small as it'll go, that will cause some issues. I think that, yeah, start in the middle is generally a pretty good way of going. If you're looking at buying new shoes, I personally recommend carbon soles because with a plastic sole, it has to be comparatively a lot thicker in order to retain the stiffness on a plastic sole. Now, this has the same impact as lengthening the crank, i.e. it closes the hip down excessively and can influence pedaling dynamics, can influence hip function. So a carbon sole, a little bit thinner, a little bit stiffer, more supportive, and just generally better power transfer as well. That doesn't mean to say you have to have the most expensive carbon fibre shoes. I have to say some of the Italian brand. How can I basically say fucking shit without saying fucking shit? One thing with trying shoes on, I get people who come in and they have been to a shop and they tried loads of shoes on, and they end up buying a certain shoe of a certain size, which is too big. I say, well, you know, how did this occur? And they say, well, I was kind of in between sizes. If you're in between sizes of anything, bikes, shoes, whatever, that's a roundabout way of saying it just doesn't fit you. You wouldn't walk into Levi's and go, you know, put on a pair of jeans that were 2 inches too big in the waist, then put the next size down on that were 1 inch too tight in the waist and go, I'll buy these. You just wouldn't buy them. You'd go somewhere else. You go to Diesel or something, or whatever it might be. Don't go up a size to accommodate the width, because consider this. If you go up a size in order to accommodate the width of the foot, the shoe ends up being too large, obviously, but the cleat location ends up further forward. That puts a lot of strain through the front of the foot, very dense capillary structure in the front of the foot, so you end up with numb feet. Actually, more importantly, it puts quite a lot of strain through the subtalar complex, through your ankle joint, and that tends to refer up through to the knees. So riders getting anterior pain in their knees is very often attributed to the cleat location being too far forward, actually. And we know a certain little tiny man that was getting iliotibial band-esque symptoms as a result of his cleat location, seemingly as a result of his cleat location being too far forward.
I know him.
Yeah, he looks like a golf ball with a toupee.
You look like a microphone.
Get the cleats as far back as they'll go. Try and have carbon soles. Go to a bike shop that's going to sell you proper stuff. Don't go to the shop that's got every single brand under the sun, because frankly, they don't really care about you. You want to go to a bike shop that specialises in things. Specialising in fit is generally a good way to go about it. You know, bike shops that have an ethos in bike fitting.
Staff that wear shirts, steel frames on the wall.
No, you're just taking the piss.
Blue jerseys.
Don't be a dick.
Black doors.